Star Trek the original series is set in the 23rd century and follows the USS Enterprise, which is a vessel in Starfleet, which is the exploratory branch of the United Federation of Planets. Main characters are James T. Kirk, the half-human and half-Vulcan Mr. Spock, Leonard Bones McCoy, Uhura, Scotty, Sulu, and Chekhov. Star Trek the Animated Series is an animated continuation of the Enterprise's adventures in Star Trek the original series and has the same crew. Star Trek the Motion Picture follows the original crew who reunites on a refitted Enterprise as the mysterious Voyager is approaching Earth. Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, the crew faces the superhuman Khan, whose planet has been ravaged by the Federation's experiments. Star Trek The Search for Spock, the crew must steal the Enterprise from Starfleet and make it to the Genesis planet before a group of Klingons. Star Trek The Voyage Home, an alien probe attempts to communicate with now extinct whales on Earth, and the crew must go back to 1986 San Francisco to bring the whales to the 23rd century. Star Trek The Final Frontier, the crew must deal with Cybok and his followers who are wreaking havoc as they try to reach the center of the galaxy. Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, the crew of the Excelsior and the Enterprise must stop a plot that could prevent a peace treaty between the Klingons and the Federation. Star Trek The Next Generation is set in the 24th century and follows the Starfleet's USS Enterprise D, which is traveling through the galaxy. Main characters are Jean-Luc Picard, Riker, the android Data, Beverly Crusher, Geordi LaForge, the Earth-raised Klingon Worf, the half-Betazoid, half-human Deanna Troi. Star Trek Generations has a long-presumed dead Captain Kirk and Picard who work together to stop a scientist plan that threatens hundreds of millions of people. Star Trek Deep Space Nine is about the space station Deep Space Nine and later the USS Defiant, which orbit the planet Bajor, as well as a wormhole to the other end of the galaxy. Main characters are Benjamin Sisko, the Bajoran Kieran Arus, the Trill Jadzia Dax, the Changeling Odo, Julian Bashir, Miles O'Brien, and the Ferengi bartender Quark. Star Trek First Contact follows the Enterprise as it goes back in time to stop the Borg from interfering with the launch of humanity's first warp ship. Star Trek Insurrection, the Enterprise goes against Starfleet Command in order to protect the inhabitants of a planet. Star Trek Voyager, the USS Voyager is sent to the other end of the galaxy 70 years away from Starfleet and the Federation. Main characters are Catherine Janeway, Chakotay, the Vulcan Tuvok, Tom Paris, Harry Kim, the half-human, half-Klingon B'Elanna Torres, the Talaxian Neelix, the former Borg drone 7 of 9, and the emergency medical hologram, the Doctor. Star Trek Nemesis is about turmoil between the Romulans and Remans, which leaves the Enterprise with the task of stopping their joint invasion of Earth. Star Trek Enterprise is set in the 22nd century and follows the United Earth's first deep space exploration vessel, the USS Enterprise NX-01, as it travels through a pre-Federation galaxy. The main characters are Jonathan Archer, the Vulcan T'Pol, Trip Tucker, Malcolm Reed, the Denobulan Dr. Phlox, Hoshi Sato, and Travis Mayweather. Star Trek from 2009 follows a young crew of the original Enterprise who must stop Nero and his Romulan accomplices who seek to destroy the Federation. Star Trek Into Darkness follows the crew of the Enterprise who must catch the renegade terrorist John Harrison. Star Trek Beyond, the crew becomes stranded on a hostile planet after the destruction of their ship. Star Trek Discovery is set a few years before the original series. The first season follows the USS Discovery during the Federation Klingon War. The second season follows the Discovery trying to track down the Red Angel that is causing mysterious signals around the galaxy. Third season, the USS Discovery finds itself in the 32nd century, where the event called the Burn has made travel by warp impossible, which has shrunk the Federation to only a few worlds, and has made the dominant power in the galaxy, the hyper-capitalist empire Emerald Chain. Main characters are the human raised by Vulcans, named Michael Burnham, the Kelpian Saru, Stamets, and Tilly. Short Treks is an anthology series of short episodes that takes place at different times with different characters. Star Trek Picard is set 20 years after Star Trek Nemesis, and in this one, Picard has retired from Starfleet over the evacuation of Romulus and also their banning of synthetic life. He's then sought out by a woman who claims to have connections to his friend Data. Main characters are Picard, the synthetic life form Daj, Raffi, 7 of 9, Girardi, Rios, and the Romulan warrior nun, Eleanor. Star Trek Lower Decks is a comedy that follows the low-ranked crew who do menial jobs on the USS Cerritos, which is one of the least important ships in Starfleet. Main characters are Mariner, Boimler, the Orion Tendi, and the human cyborg Rutherford. Star Trek Prodigy follows young aliens who make their way from the Delta Quadrant of the galaxy to the Alpha Quadrant of the galaxy on the abandoned Federation vessel, the USS Protostar. Main characters are Darrell, who's of an unknown species, Val Naakit, named Gwyndala, a Tellarate named Jekampog, the Medusan, named Zero, the Blob called Murph, and the emergency training hologram Catherine Janeway. Episode recommendations of all these series will be in the comments. Thank you. Subscribe, like, see ya.